Hello and welcome to Breakfast with Pancakes. I am your host, PK Sullivan. This week we are going to be grilling up some Mojo shrimp tacos because summer has arrived and that bright, citrusy garlic flavor is absolutely what I'm craving. To go along with that, I'm going to be doing a grilled pineapple salsa and some homemade tortillas, which will be a first for me. I've never made tortillas before, so bear with me, I am learning out loud. I don't have any store-bought tortillas, so there is no safety net. If we're gonna have tacos for dinner, I need to make those and make them right. Mojo means many different things in many different cultures. It has Portuguese origins, it is a spicy herb sauce. In the Caribbean, it is more citrus forward, still spicy, and frequently features lots and lots of garlic. I'm doing sort of a Puerto Rican Mojo. It's limes and garlic and herbs and just big, bold flavors that really, to me, speak of summer. With that all said, there is a bit of prep work, so I gotta get going, and I'll see you at the end of the video. To make Mojo shrimp, you'll need 450 grams of shell-on shrimp, 2 limes, 1 orange, 8 cloves of garlic, 1 bunch of cilantro, a couple sprigs of mint, 60 ml of olive oil, kosher salt, 5 ml of ancho chili powder, 5 ml of toasted cumin. It can be hard to find shell-on shrimp that's been deveined. The nice thing is that deveining shrimp is actually pretty straightforward. All you need is a good sharp paring knife. The vein in shrimp runs along the back of the shell. The shell plates overlap front to back, so insert your knife under the shell at the head of the shrimp. The edge of the blade will be pressed against the shell, while the spine of the knife is against the flesh. Then gently push the blade into the shrimp, moving the shrimp with your other hand. As the knife slides deeper, the blade will slice through the shell. Done right, the point of the blade will slide under the next plate as you slice. Once the plates have been split all the way to the tail, peel them open and remove the intestinal tract. It should slide out quite easily. Depending on the season, you may find a soft orange-pink mass under the shell as well. I believe that is the shrimp roe, but I don't have confirmation. Regardless, it's nothing to worry about. It's edible, but I've never had a use for it, so sadly I've just washed them away down the drain. To make the Mojo marinade, combine the following ingredients in a blender: the leaves of the mint, the tender stems and leaves of the cilantro, the garlic, olive oil, ancho chilies, cumin, the zest of the orange and limes, then the juice from those fruits. Puree all the ingredients for about a minute, or until a sauce forms. Taste the marinade and add salt, starting with just a teaspoon. Mix, taste again, and continue adjusting with salt or additional lime juice as needed. Mine needed more lime, so in went the juice of a third lime. Reserve about 30 ml of the marinade. Pour the remaining marinade over the shrimp and toss to coat. You want the marinade to get inside the shells, so don't be afraid to work it a bit. Just be careful you don't remove the shells. We still need those. I always buy shell-on shrimp even if the recipe doesn't call for it. In those cases, the shells get frozen until I have enough to make a big batch of shrimp stock. Cover the shrimp and refrigerate for 30 minutes to 2 hours. While that rests, let's get our salsa prepped. You'll need fresh pineapple, a red onion, a lime, 2 serrano chilies, 3 cloves of garlic, kosher salt, and half a bunch of cilantro. We just need to get the ingredients ready for the grill. Start by peeling the onion and cutting it into quarters. We only need 2 quarters for the recipe. Reserve the others if you want to do minced or pickled red onion for your tacos. I'm not doing that, I'm keeping it simple. Now cut your lime in half across the equator. The peppers get roasted whole, so set those aside with the onion and lime while you peel your pineapple. Peeling a pineapple can get tricky because it'll get very slippery as you reveal the flesh. Work smart. Trim the top and bottom off so it stands stable. Use a bread knife to trim the outside. Slice down, taking thin strips with each pass. Once the bulk of the peel is removed, go back and trim off the eyes. Now cut the pineapple in half pole to pole. Then into quarters, pole to pole. The center is rough and woody, so remove that by slicing at a 45-degree angle. That leaves you with a sort of blunt wedge shape that can be grilled nicely. Now, time to prep the dough for the tortillas. It's just fresh masa, water, and salt. There are multiple kinds of masa. Today, I'm working with a fresh masa. That means that the maize was nixtamalized, ground and made into a dough before packaging. It's sold already as a dough. It needs a little bit of water to come together in order to be cooked with, but for the most part, it's ready to go. Fresh masa needs to be refrigerated, and even then it has a pretty limited shelf life. So it's not something you're just going to buy and keep on hand. For that, you want masa harina. Masa harina is the same nixtamalized and ground maize, but it has been dried so that it actually forms a corn flour. It is masa, it has all the wonderful nutritional benefits of the nixtamalization process, but it does lose some flavor in the drying process. That's why I went with fresh masa, because I want the biggest, boldest corn tortilla flavor I can get, just really to see what I'm missing by not making my own in the past. With that said, let's dive into it. Break apart your masa in a large bowl and add your salt. About 5 mils of kosher salt for every 250 grams of masa. Work the masa to get a feel for its hydration level. This will vary based on the producer, the age of your masa, etc. Your end product should feel like fresh Play-Doh. Slowly add your water, a few mils at a time, until you reach that consistency, where it holds together enough to form solid balls without being sticky or slippery. The shrimp and salsa will get grilled over high direct heat, but we don't necessarily want infrared heat, which can scorch the shrimp. I've left a small layer of half-burned coals in the basket to keep the hot coals from falling through. Then a fully lit chimney gets poured in and spread out evenly. I'm using my Kamado for this one because it has a deeper body than the kettle. That gives me more space between the coals and the food, and therefore less infrared heat. I've got it set up with a kick ash basket and its divider, so about 2/3 of the cooking grate is directly over the coals. I plop the grate down and go get the salsa ingredients. This pineapple salsa is a charred salsa. We want the onions and pineapple to develop a solid char along the outsides for a huge depth of flavor. The juice from the grilled limes takes on a rich, caramely note that is really neat and kind of surprising. If you've never done this, I highly recommend it. The serranos are getting roasted. The skins will be all black and get washed off before blending. As each item is done grilling, I move it to the front of the grill where there's no heat. It's another reason I set up the grill this way. It gives me 2/3 of the grill for working and 1/3 for just holding the food. Once everything is done, I load it up on a tray and set it aside while I grill the shrimp. My biggest piece of advice for grilling shrimp is to leave the shells on. Shrimp is a delicate meat. If it sticks to the grill grate, it will shred itself to bits. The shell protects the meat from that terrible fate. The shells also hold in a bit of moisture so they effectively steam the flesh. When the shrimp has been marinated, like in this recipe, this steam action actually helps infuse the meat with the flavor of the marinade. Shrimp cook quickly, especially over direct heat like this. It only takes a few minutes, so don't walk away. Your shrimp are done when the flesh is just barely opaque throughout. Some char on the shells is totally fine. Tacos need tortillas, and tortillas need to be pressed. Line your press with a plastic zipper bag so the tortillas don't stick to the press. You'll probably need to cut it down to an 8-inch square. Simply trim off the zipper end and 2 of the sides. Leave that last side connected. It will fold over the tortilla. Now preheat your griddle or a cast iron pan over medium heat. Give it a quick rub down with some oil. Roll the dough into roughly golf ball sized orbs for an 8-inch tortilla. If you want to be OCD like me, that's about 60 grams. Load a masa ball into the press. Remember, between the layers of plastic, and give it a good squeeze. Open the press. Now carefully peel away the top layer of plastic. Invert the tortilla into your hand and very carefully peel away the other layer of plastic. Add your tortilla to the griddle and cook for 45 seconds to a minute. Then flip it and continue cooking for another 30 to 45 seconds. Flip it one last time. The tortilla is done when it starts to puff up. Transfer it to your tortilla warmer. If you don't have a tortilla warmer, use a plate lined with a towel. Add the tortilla and fold the towel back over it. Now, you're ready to make tacos. I covered the peppers with a grilling dome so they could steam a bit. It helps to loosen up the skins. Remove the skins just like with a roasted pepper. Remove the stem and as many seeds as you like. The more seeds you leave in, the hotter the salsa will be. I only seeded one pepper. I kept the rest of the seeds for kick. Add the peppers to the blender with the cilantro, onion, garlic, and pineapple chunks. Squeeze the charred limes directly into the blender pitcher. Kick on the blender and let it process 15 to 30 seconds. Give it a taste and adjust the flavor with salt and lime juice as necessary. Transfer to some sort of storage container and set aside. Now peel the shells and gently tear the shrimp in half so they will fit in your tacos better. Add the reserved marinade and toss to coat. I'm keeping my taco preparation simple and straightforward, but if you'd like to jazz things up, some more minced cilantro, diced white onion, pickled red onion, or any number of other toppings would work well here. For me though, the relative simplicity of these tacos is the point. The shrimp is delicate with that citrusy, garlicky punch. Layered on top of that is the sweetness of the pineapple with an earthy char and a real kick from the serrano. The fresh tortillas are incredible. The fresh masa is loaded with corn flavor, and the tortillas are so much more flexible than store-bought. I'll probably still buy packaged tortillas most of the time. There's a convenience factor involved in making tacos most nights, and having the tortillas ready for the plancha is definitely convenient. Plus, it's hard to keep fresh masa on hand since it spoils quickly and comes in 4-pound bags. That's a lot of tortillas. But if I'm having guests over and looking to impress, yeah, homemade tortillas are exactly what we need. What a perfect summertime meal. Grilled shrimp, fresh tortillas, and a bright, acidic pineapple salsa. Yeah. My tummy is very happy, as evidenced by the empty plate. Thank you for watching. I always appreciate it. If you care to support me monetarily, there is a link down below to the Patreon where you can join and support the show. We have a bunch of great rewards. I'll see you next time.